What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Release Valve. I am super excited to have this guest on with me today. My guest today has built her life around one of the most important and overlooked tools we all carry, the breath. Kattia Lohmann is the founder of Breath Lab Yoga Studio, and she's on a mission to help people stop running from themselves and start coming back home, starting from within, one breath at a time. It is my pleasure to introduce Kattia Lohmann. Welcome to the Release Valve, Kattia.
Hey, thank you, Sean. Thank you for having me here and just bring a little bit of um awareness. That's the most important thing right now. That's my mission. Create awareness about the breath. And you said it perfectly. It's the most underrated tool that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things, again, it's so easily overlooked. You don't really, because it's something that we just do naturally, we just assume that we're doing it right without even realizing how much better, one, that we can do with it, and two, how much it actually does affect us, right?
Totally. Like the breath, thinking about that, the breath from all the physiological systems in the body, like whatever, think about the cardiovascular system, endocrine system, digestive system, all the systems in the body.
Mm,
The breath is the only system that we could consciously control, and
mm.
yet is the one that could modify the rest.
Right, right. Yeah,
That's
it
that's
has.
how powerful our breath is.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, something that we don't even realize because we just do it naturally, that how much it actually does control all of those other aspects, especially when you have somebody that has, panic attacks or anxiety or something like that, being able to breathe through it and breathe properly. And again, not even just those things, but doing exercises or as you do yoga, being able to breathe through those things and do it properly, it helps you in so many ways. It's such a profound has such a profound impact on us, and we don't even think about it.
No, that's one of the things that I like to start when I do a workshop or something like that. I like to start asking the people, how um, do you really pay attention to how you're breathing? Like how often you pay attention to how you're breathing?
Mm,
And a lot of the times, people are like, No, really," except when they're doing maybe exercise, if they do
mm.
exercise, or if it's something is not okay, something is wrong, and they have this feeling of um, cannot breathe.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's funny, I was just having this conversation with my wife the other day. She used to do, like just some simple things, is going to like pick something up that's heavy, and she would hold her breath
Mm-hmm.
as she was picking the thing up and then letting it go as she like stood up or whatever. And it was like, no, like you're gonna pass out if you do it that way. Like you're supposed to inhale as you're getting started, and as you're doing the exertion, whatever that is, exhale, let it out as you're doing it. And she was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh really? And so now she thinks about it all the time, and she tries to purposely make sure that she's conscious of how she's breathing when she's doing things, because it can zap your energy real quick if you're not breathing right.
That happen a lot with people that do weightlifting and
Mm-hmm.
gym. Sometimes they have a tendency to hold the breath when they're doing high weights. So
Mm.
yeah, it's
I've
something that
seen
we have
some
to
videos
be.
of people. Yeah, sorry. I've seen some videos of people passing out after lifting a heavy weight or something. Yeah, because you could see that they were holding their breath during it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, when did you first realize that the breath work was more than just simple breathing?
Well, I think for me, um, it was mm, one of the most anxious periods of my life, and
Mm,
I start noticing that I couldn't breathe.
mm-hmm,
So that kind of like set up the pace over there, and I was like, oh, what, something is happening. And then, but I was trying to like put in some makeup and just being like, oh, maybe it's because I was in a coastal town, so it was very hot, and I was like, oh, maybe it's the heat that just hit me, and that I
Mm,
couldn't breathe because of that. And I was just like thinking about that, trying to get a little fresh air and drinking something cold and cool me down. And but I wasn't even really connecting with my breath.
mm,
Now that I could see that from the past, it was my body having anxious, right? And it was the weight of my body to tell me, hey, pay attention to this. I
mm,
was in that moment in a period of my life that I was taking a lot of big decisions, but I wasn't taking the decisions from what I really wanted to do. I was taking it from another person. I was following another path, another dream, another thing that I was kind of like okay with it, but it wasn't something that brings this spark in me. So I
mm.
think it was my body also trying to telling me, hey, step back, pause on this, think about this. What are you doing? And I was just like going with the flow over there, right? And I was just
Yep.
following whatever I committed to do, but without asking myself if that was actually what I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's very, very important. Being able to, and I've talked about this before, being in line, I guess is one way to put it, with your purpose in life. What
Hmm.
brings you passion, what you feel passionate about, what you feel, feeds your soul, your
Mhm.
purpose for being. And a lot of people ignore that and they'll just kind of go, go, go. And they wonder why they're starting to get, as you were finding out, starting to feel run down, having panic attacks, having anxiety attacks, not knowing the cause of it, the reason why, but you're just living outside of yourself
Mhm.
almost. And
Mhm.
again, people don't realize how much that has an effect on you if you're not conscious of it, right?
Totally. In that period, that was kind of like I was doing my thing and I was having those episodes, but it wasn't nothing crazy. It was just like once in a while. Usually, when I was eating, was that I was like eating my food, and then all of a sudden I was like, I cannot breathe, and I have to like take
Mm,
it slow and try to get some cold water or whatever, and then it passed. Um, but that time also I was investing and I always been a seeker. So I like
mm-hmm,
to experience different cultures and different religions and different um, ways to see the world. And
mm,
I was already on my spiritual path. And I thought that I was doing a lot of work already on myself and my traumas in my childhood and all of that. And I decided that I wanted to do ayahuasca. So
okay.
when I went into my retreat for ayahuasca, um, the ayahuasca, I will say that it was the best and the worst thing that I ever did in my life.
Mm,
And I think it's the best because I'm very grateful for it, and I have a lot of respect for the plant. I'm not sure that I'm gonna do it again,
mm,
but the worst because all the things that I was trying to ignore and I put a band on it and I was just suppressing, it would just came into the surface.
yeah.
So all the things that I thought that I was working already in my spiritual path, I realized and I understand now that I was literally just like a spiritual, I have like a bypass spiritual, right? I was just like not really doing my inner work, not really doing my shadow work. And I was
Mm,
just like living in this life of I love everybody, everything, everybody is like peace and love, right? And I was just I think sugar covering everything. And then all those symptoms that I have before doing that retreat of I can breathe, and that type of things, it became just like a real uh anxiety attacks and panic attacks.
Mm.
And that's when I start actually have to cultivate a relationship with myself. And the breath became that bridge between my body, my mind, and my emotions.
Mm.
Literally was a moment um, when that was, I had to work a lot in the integration of the experience of the ayahuasca. And it took me like 4 months for me to like recovery from there because
Mm.
I'm very sensitive um, emotionally, and I'm very sensitive to substance. So when I did that, I was still feeling the effects, even like weeks, months after my
Really?
retreat, because it was not just one take, it was a retreat for a whole week, and we did 3 takes. So
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me, it was a lot, and especially because in the last one, I didn't throw up. So I think my body didn't did a cleansing because um the second take was pretty profound, and I was vomiting like the whole like 6 hours, just ugh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So in the third one, everybody was like, "Oh no, you don't need to throw up again. Try to hold it. Try to breathe in through. Just trust the process and blah blah blah." And I think I just keep it like I could feel it like days before I have a burp, and it was like the taste and everything. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I couldn't sleep. Like every time that I was trying to close my eyes and relax myself to fall asleep, I was just starting to see
Mm.
lights and patterns and geometric forms. And it was like,
The waves. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So that was kind of like the way that I have to work and really connect with my body. I'm a physical therapist, so for me, the body has been my way to study, right? Like I
Mm.
study all anatomy, physiology, and everything. So um, I had to take all that from what I know about the mechanics of my body and everything, and take what I was learning from the tools from yoga and things like that, and just put it together and help myself, right? And
Mm.
also I get help with other type of therapies like acupuncture and Reiki and things like that to help me to
Okay.
balance myself.
Mm.
But that's how it happened. And I was very tired one day because I couldn't sleep, and I was just crying. And I remember that the sun came in the window, and I was like, oh my God, another day, and I couldn't sleep, and I was just so tired. And I start crying, and I was like laying on the floor, and I was crying, and I was like, "What is this life? I don't want this." Because
Oh.
and it wasn't like a suicide thought or anything. It was just like I'm tired of. I couldn't sleep. I have like 3 months without sleeping, so I was
Man.
just like very bad in that situation. And then I literally hear it because I think it still was from all the experience that I have this voice that came to me and say, if you're living, you're breathing, start with that. And I was like, okay. Well, I was like, okay, okay. So I start breathing. And I just keep doing it. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't call it breath work in that moment. I was just like following whatever because I was in the completely surrender state.
Yeah.
And then I start to feel a little better and have a little more clarity. And little by little, like literally one breath at a time, I was like feeling a little better, and I feel a little more me. I was feeling a little more me, like functionally, but definitely I was another person from that experience
Yeah,
coming in.
yeah.
So it was beautiful because everything that I was just trying to suppress and have a bail on it, it just
Yeah,
fall
yeah.
apart. And I start really take responsibility of my life and my decisions, and taking decisions, important decisions that I have to break up from a relationship, get out of that path. Like, this is not what I want. And ask me, what do I want? What do I want?
Mm.
And how is the person that I want to share my life with? Um, is this the right work for me? Like, and I used to love my work, the job that I have in that moment. But all those questions start coming to me, and I start questioning everything.
Yeah.
So it was like, um, I don't know, a lot of breakthrough
Mm.
in a lot of vulnerability also that came to me. But yeah, that was kind of a long story.
Wow. No, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, you know it. I love the fact that you didn't just question, I mean, one, that you did question yourself, who you are, what it is that you're looking to do, but you took action to figure it out. Was it the best action that you possibly could have taken? Who knows, right? Who's to say? But you did something, and I've heard that before about people that have tried ayahuasca or DMT, that it completely strips you of your ego and how you view yourself and how you view things around you, and it kind of just leaves you as like it reveals who you really are, what you really are, and then you can kind of start making those decisions from there on how to respond to what it is that you saw, right?
I think I think when you do things like that, you have kind of like two options. Let's say, like, one option is really start taking responsibility of your life and start doing all the changes that you need to do, because something like that, a secret like plan like that, doesn't gonna fix you. It definitely don't gonna fit you. It will
Right.
just reveal you what you have to work on yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
you are the one that has to do the work. You are the one that you're waiting for. So you have to start taking responsibilities, observe the things, and kind of create this separation around the things that you thought that you were, but questioning why, and start like changing your beliefs. And it's like a completely transformation that you have to do, right? It's
Right.
like becoming this alchemist, right? That we are. It is our
Mm-hmm.
power to transform our pain in something beautiful, right? So you have that option, or the other option is going even in the dark hole. Like,
Yep.
because then you see all that, but you feel so much overwhelmed about it that you
Mm.
will need more addictions or more drugs or more things to try to
Right.
cover it up because it's too much.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, once you have that truth revealed to you, you're either intentionally going against it or you're going with it. And
yeah.
yeah, like you said, start changing the decisions that you make based off of that truth that was revealed to you. And that's not easy for a lot of people, especially to, as I say, looking in the mirror and being honest with what you're seeing. When
Mm.
you do something like that, you have no choice but
Yeah.
to see the honest truth.
Yeah.
And then again, yeah, you're either going with that and changing your life for the hopefully for the better, or you're intentionally going against it. And that's even that much harder because it's not like you can just go back to how things were before, completely oblivious
No,
to how things are, and what you
no,
saw, forget
because
all about it. Like you said, you're usually going to do something to start masking that, to hide from it, and try to forget about it. And what comes with that is, yeah, probably worse addictions or anything like that,
yeah,
that makes you that much worse off than you were before.
yeah, yeah, totally.
That's that is a wild journey. I appreciate you sharing that. That's I can only imagine. I've never done anything like that myself, but I have had moments in life where, like I said, I was able to look in the mirror and I had to make a conscious decision on how I was going to navigate going forward, because
Yeah,
yeah, the truth was revealed to me
yeah,
and I couldn't deny it anymore. I was a big BSer when I was younger. I was able to I mean, my favorite quote was "fake it till you make it," and that's what I did all the time. Yeah, it was just I'm gonna fake it, I'm gonna lie, I'm gonna do whatever I can to not face this truth.
Mhm.
But then it got to a point to where I couldn't run from it
Yeah.
anymore.
No, totally, because that's what I said before. I think I was in this spiritual bypass where everything was light and love and everything,
Hmm.
but that was what I was in the outside, but still in the inside, I had so much to work on it. And when you start seeing the things like that, you cannot ignore it anymore. Like you just
Right.
get, because you have this mask, right? And everybody see you with this mask, but you cannot hold your performance all the time.
Right. Ooh, I love the way you said that. Yes. Yes, because it is a performance. You're putting on an act. You're not being your true, authentic, genuine self. And there's only so long that you can do that. You're going to
Yeah,
get tired of it. You're going to get
yeah.
tired of running. You're going to get tired of acting. You're going to get tired of putting on that performance. I love the way you said that. That was perfect. I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to, whether they want to admit it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're gonna reach a point in life to where you just get tired of doing it, and how are you gonna respond to it?
Mm-hmm.
Again, you can either make that conscious decision to start changing the way you make decisions, how you go about things, or you're gonna double down and try that much harder to run from it and hide from it. And what does that life look like? Not good, not happy,
No,
right?
no, I don't think so.
It's a recipe for disaster, in my opinion.
Totally.
So, for some of those people, what are some of the signs when someone is disconnected from themselves?
Yeah, I would like to talk a little about um, what it feels kind of to be in autopilot and in having an intention with the breath.
Mm,
So, like very briefly, we could talk a little bit about the nervous system, right? So we have our nervous system, which is what controls mostly all the functions in our body, right? Digest, um, our hormones, our heart rate, our breathing patterns, like everything, right?
hmm.
So, so we have that, and the systems divides into. So we have the sympathetic system, the sympathetic nervous system, and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is the one that we know as a fight or flight. So it is active when we have under stress, or we need to run, or we need to protect ourselves, right? So we defend ourselves, or we freeze. That's the sympathetic nervous system. And then we have the parasympathetic nervous system, which is what we know as a rest and digest. So is the when we are relaxed, when we are chilling, when we are rejuvenating, and our cells are doing all the healing that we need to do to in order to keep us alive and keep us healthy.
Hmm.
So when the problem is over there, thinking about that, when a person is disconnected from himself, I will say that the problem is that when you ask me that questions, a lot of people would say, "Oh, probably the breathing pattern's going to be altered, right? They're going to breathe on the chest. They're going to breathe a little, like her heart rate is going to be faster. They will
Mm.
feel." But actually, for me, being disconnected from myself, it's normal. It's just feeling normal. And I will tell
Oh.
you why. Because we are so used to be in this sympathetic mode
Mm.
that we take for granted that just the way there I am. I'm tired, I need more coffee. And instead of slowing down and having the moment to recover ourselves, right?
Mm.
And from there we have like three ways of breathing. So the first one, it will be the voluntary breathing, which is something that we voluntarily want to do, like talking, singing, whistling, doing scuba dive, blowing a candle, whatever. That's voluntarily. We decide how control our breath to do whatever we want. Then we have the non-voluntary way to breathe in, which is a reflection of pain or stress. So that comes with the sympathetic response, right? The fight and
Mm.
flight. And then the other way is the autonomic way of breathing, which is, I'm sorry, the automatic way of breathing, which is what we do every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day is how you breathe every day. So the problem is that we spend so much time in the sympathetic response that our automatic way of breathing becomes fight or flight,
Mm.
because it's a way for our emotion, for us to couple in with our emotions.
Yeah, yeah. Right. And then, like you said, that just becomes the normal for us and what we get used to.
That becomes our normal. So I
Wow.
never think about the way that I'm breathing, and if I never pay attention to the way that I'm breathing, I'm probably never gonna, probably I don't have the time to pause, or I don't take the time to pause and actually reflect on myself and how I really feel. So that's probably, and that came with the emotions also.
Mm.
So I'm holding my emotions all the time. So that creates a lot of tension. So think about, like, you have your hand and you just make your fist and you compress it, right? And then you open it and it takes a little, like, microseconds to fill it up again with the
Yep.
blood, right? So think about that as in your shoulders, for example. When you are stressed all the time and you're just accumulating a lot of tension in here, that's what is happening right now. So you get
Mm.
this feeling of sensation of tightness, right? Or your
Yeah.
neck is painful because you are holding so much your tension, right? So much your muscles over there that oxygen cannot flow in your blood. So you're having aches and pains all over your body because you are accumulating tensions in different parts of your body. Depends on what you are dealing with,
Mm.
right? So emotions is very important. Like for me, I like to think about a baby when it comes to the world, right? So a baby comes to the world, and the first thing that the doctor check is if he's breathing, right? So it comes with an inhalation and then cry. "Ah!" And that baby's perfect. Perfect. Let's start cleaning it up. We'll give it to the mom and everything. Baby doesn't breathe. Baby doesn't cry. Something's wrong. So we have to start normalizing the emotions are part of our experience in life.
Mm. And processing those emotions properly, right?
And
Not suppressing them and
exactly. And then when we pass away and we die, we live with an exhalation.
mm.
So for me, that's why the breath is our portal also, because it doesn't come just because I think that it's just an exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, right? It's just is this bridge that connect my body from the source also, and my
Mm-hmm.
emotions, which is something that we need to experience in life in order to grow,
Yes. Yes.
in
Thank you for
order,
saying that.
yeah, in order to transform, in order to learn how to deal with others and how to deal with ourselves. So it's, if I am in my temple, which is my body, and I could
Mm.
close my eyes and go inward, the only thing that I have in here, it's the breath, is the movement of my breath.
Mm.
When I connect with that, I could separate from my thoughts, from my brain, let's say, and let whatever thought that comes go,
Mm.
because I could start becoming that observer of that waves that comes and go, but I'm just moving here and this life itself, which is the breath.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. No, you're so right. so many people run and hide and suppress their feelings and their emotions, and then that builds up. I mean, that's the whole point of this podcast, and the name in and of itself, the release valve. People need that release, and the more that you run and hide and suppress those feelings, the more release that you need, the bigger of a release that you need. But if it's something that you're doing all the time, consciously putting in that work, trying to work on your if nothing else, your breathing and the processing of those emotions or feelings, the less that you're gonna feel like you have built up, the less that you're gonna feel tension and feeling stressed out. It's gonna then become part of your daily routine. When anything comes your way that's a big event or a stressful situation or anxiety riddled or something like that, you're going to be able to respond to it accordingly in the heat of the moment and be like, all right, slow things down, hold on, let me take a breath, let me work through this, let me process this the right way. And everything just kind of gets easier once you do that, right? The more that you do that, it gets easier to be able to do it going forward. And I know some people that have tried focusing on their breath work and nothing, they don't feel anything, this isn't working, they shut it down. And I know some people that swear by it, somebody like yourself that's like, no, this is essential to
Hmm.
your growth, your development, your healing, stuff like that. What do you think is the difference between those two people, the people that it comes naturally for, the people that have a hard time doing it? Do you think it's the readiness? Is it the technique? Or, what do you think that is?
I think that we are so used to be dramatic. We are so used to be dramatic that we start doing practices or using different tools, and we are expecting dramatic things. We are
Mm,
expecting breakthroughs. We are expecting checkiness. We are expecting things like that because sometimes happens. It's true. Sometimes could happen if you are
mm-hmm,
open and willing to allow your body to just release whatever that could happen. But that doesn't mean that happens every single time. So
mm-hmm,
when you are practicing something that probably is new for you, and you are with this expectation of something, is when you are like pursuing something, you're always going to be behind, right? You're always going to be behind that thing that you're pursuing because you are not there. If you are open and you allow it to do, you will be surprised that we are missing the subtle things, the subtle changes that could come with awareness. Because
mm,
we don't even need an intense technique. We don't even need like a whole hour, 2 hours of intense breathing. Your awareness of your breath, just a simple presence of the awareness of your breath could create a shift on you. But you have to
mm,
be present and you have to be there to see it, to feel it. If you are waiting for a completely breakthrough and crying and starting like things like that, you're probably gonna keep pursuing that because
right.
and not just with breath work, probably in different techniques.
Yeah, yeah, in
And
different
and
aspects of life.
and of course, breath work and yoga and meditation and whatever tool the people use, uh, my the way that I breathe, the techniques that I use that works for me is probably they're probably not gonna be good for you because you are different than me. Your parents,
Mm,
your breathing patterns are different. So if you start jumping into breath work, doing techniques, but you don't know yourself, you don't know your way of breathing. You don't know your own patterns. How are you gonna
mm.
change something that you don't know? It's like you wanna modify a behavior in you, but you don't know that you have it. So how you wanna work with that, right? If you
Right.
right, it's kind of crazy. So the first thing that you have to do, and the first thing that that's my approach for breath work is know yourself through your breath. know your
Mm.
patterns, and then start just being observer. Like, for example, if I feel angry, or if I feel that I'm going to explode with my daughter because she doesn't listen to me or whatever, I start noticing, oh, wait a second, how I'm breathing right now. And you just start collecting data about how you're breathing in that moment. You're probably tense, you're probably contract, you're probably breathing on your chest, your heart rate probably is up, like things like that. And then the next time that you have a reaction similar to that, you're like, oh, wait a second, I know this. I'm gonna take it slow.
Hmm.
Just give me a minute. I mean, the emotions actually, the beginning of the emotions, it takes 90 seconds in order before it explode, let's say. So you
Right.
have that window of awareness to work on it
Mm.
before you react, or before you like.
Yeah, absolutely. Being present and having self-awareness, I think, is a huge thing for a lot of people. We're so used to just go, go, go. I got too many things that I have going on in my life, especially if you're a parent. If you have kids, you got to go do this, you got to go do that. I don't have time to sit back and self-assess, and compute all of these things about myself and take these notes, and you just go, go, go. But it's so important. And again, that's that recipe for disaster. That's what's going to cause you to have those breakdowns, to have those meltdowns, to have those shutdowns, those complete
Yep.
flush of emotions, and have all the floodgates open up, and it's usually displaced anger that gets exploded, right? And something will come up and you explode, and it was a way over dramatic reaction to something that it needed to be. But if you take that time to slow things down, ask yourself, why am I so upset right now? What is this situation? Why is my blood pressure rising? Why am I getting hot? Why is my breathing disrupted? Really take that time, because it's so important. And I've said this before, it's not just a matter of how these things affect us, because that's
Mm-hmm.
very important. But this also has a profound effect on those around us too, our family members, especially our kids. They're soaking up all this information like sponges. They see if you have a bad reaction to something, if you continuously have bad reactions, they're going to take that and say, oh, okay, that's how I'm supposed to react when I get upset about something. So it's
Yeah.
so important to do this work that you're doing, and allow people to slow things down,
Mm-hmm.
process what you have going on, assess the situation at hand, and like we said before, process your emotions. Really get to that root source of why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. You're going to have a better reaction. You're going to feel better. And then you're also helping those other people around you deal with you when you're in that state, right?
Mm-hmm. And also, I think I'm talking about my experience, for example, with my uh, trauma as a kid. I blocked my experience, and and then when I was like a teenager, or even in my early 20s, and I start having partnerships and things like that, um, um, I I didn't like to feel like everything that was outside of my zone of pleasure, right? Of my joyful thing. I
Yeah.
didn't like to feel it, because that experience that I have as a kid teach me, and that was my nervous system trying to protect me as a kid. It was so hard that it just blocked it and put this like wall, right, of protection of feeling, and I forgot about it. That then, as an adult, every time that I was feeling uncomfortable, or there was feeling something that wasn't a good feeling, right? Because it doesn't exist good or bad feeling. It just something that was on the spectrum of my likes, right? It was it was so hard for me. and I was just, and that was, and that is why, like, English is not my first language. I just have to say that.
No
Uh,
worries.
um, I just have to put this block on things that even have a hard conversation of, I don't like this, I don't want this, I I'm not agree with this, like things like that. So just setting boundaries, for example, it was hard for me because I didn't want to create conflict. I didn't want to create, um, I don't know, like a feeling of um, inconvenience in some way,
Right.
or miss the peace of the situation. But I was
Hmm.
not being truthful with what I really wanted.
That is huge. I think with so many people, that feeling of you don't want to be a bother, you don't want to be an inconvenience, like you said, you don't want to cause any waves in other people's lives. So yeah, we shrink away from our true selves, our true likes, our true dislikes, and we just kind of become a shell of who we really are. And some people, I mean, gosh, you could go through your entire life and feel that way.
Mhm.
But how much better it feels when you're able to face it. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's making those tough decisions at first, but once you make those tough decisions and you get away from that path that you're on, everything becomes so much more clear. And then you're able to really find out who you are as a person and get in touch with yourself. And I have one question I want to go back to, and then I want to get back to this because I think it's so important being able to do that. But before I go down that road, I wanted to ask you: have you ever worked with somebody that was completely a non-believer, just a skeptic of breath work, and they didn't want anything to do with it? Like, how did you handle that? How did you approach that?
The name of my project is Breath Lab, and it's
Hmm.
called Breath Lab because it's a laboratory. So you are the science, right? You are the scientist, and you are the one that has to experience the things. Don't believe me. You just don't believe me. You just have to be curious enough to be open and start experimenting with yourself. How
Hmm.
you feel. If we breathe in this way, what is the difference between the other way? If you start creating this awareness of yourself and knowing yourself through your breath, you will be very surprised about the things that you do that you are not conscious about it. So, for me, a person that is skeptical is just, it's just an invitation of, no, you don't have to believe me. Experience by yourself. Just do it. Just it, give me 3 minutes. Just give me 3 minutes. You with breath awareness could feel a shift if you are open to it. If you're willing to
Right.
do it.
Yeah, become your own scientist, run your own tests, and yeah,
Yeah.
be honest with the results that you're getting too, because you're gonna feel
Also.
something. There's no way that you can legitimately put in this work and not feel anything. You're gonna feel something. What is that something? Question it. Be honest with it too. Really try and put in that effort. And I think that's probably the big thing with a lot of people is they're not genuinely putting in that work and really trying things out. They're just looking at something, outside of the box and being like, what is this over here? But to get back to what we were just talking about, you mentioned breath being a portal to reconnect with yourself and transform what from within. What does that mean to you? What does that mean exactly?
I mean, I could answer that kind of like a mechanical way, functional way, or I could go a very mystical way. Let me try to find
Do
like
them
a
both. Do it
like a
all.
like a mix of both. Like, think about the egg, right? You have the egg and you have the sperm, and they and the egg open up and let the sperm get into. In that moment, you have a spark of light, right?
Mm.
And that's energy.
Mm-hmm.
So even before, like thinking about the example that we talk about the baby when it comes to the world, even before our first breath, this is a whole egg that can like kind of contact the universe, the cosmos, right? And is life itself and emerge, right? In this sparkle of like with this energy. What is the breath? The breath is energy, is the way that we could create energy for us to keep us alive, right? And what
Mm.
do we need for to create oxygen and everything? Um, to create energy, we need oxygen, right? And we need fluids and we need food, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
combination of that create at ATP, right? Which is the energy that keep us alive to move our body and function our organs and everything. So when I inhale, I'm inhaling oxygen, which is the combustion that help me to run my body, right? When I exhale, so I'm nourishing my body, and then when I'm exhaling, I am cleansing my body. So I'm
Mm.
detoxifying my cells. So when a person is in creativity and is having this imagination, or a painter is painting, or a musician is like playing an instrument or something, or a surgeon are doing a surgery or whatever, they are in full presence. And you
Mm.
say that this person is inspired, right? Is there completely present. When a person passed away or is dead, right? This person is expired. So that energy, right? You think about when you see somebody that passed away. It's just flesh and bones, right? But doesn't have this
Yeah.
spark of the light. It doesn't have this light in your eyes or color in your in the skin, right? It's just meat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like think of meat when what if you, I don't know if you eat meat or not, but if you see meat in the grocery store, right? It's just flesh over there, right?
Right. But at one point, that was a living being,
At
a
one
living
point,
creature.
yeah. So for me, I see this portal as this way that is our opportunity, is this bridge that connect my body with my emotions, and is how I could experience my physicality, right, in this world. Because if I'm not breathing, I'm dead, literally. If
Mm.
you don't,
Mm.
if you're not breathing, you're dead. So you cannot be here doing your things, right? So the breath is what sustain my life and is the life itself that lives in me. So if I
Mm.
know my breath, if I know this, how I function within this thing, I probably will be a little more clear about the things that I have to do and the way that I mm, show up in the environment that I am. So that's kind of like the
Mm.
way that I see it. Um, or you could see it just like this that ATP that you have to create in order for you to function. If you don't have that, if you're not breathing, you cannot create energy. So you cannot move, you cannot eat, you cannot talk, you cannot nothing. You don't
Mm.
exist.
Right. Right. I love your deeper meaning, um, point of view, and how you look into the depth of things as opposed to just surface level. But I like that you're able to touch base on the surface level of things as well too. I like your mindset towards these. Um, so for those that are looking to start taking breathing more serious and really start being more conscious of how they're doing it, what's one of the first steps to take for someone who's never done breath work before?
The invitation is to be aware, to create awareness of it.
Mm.
Even like if you just, I will say to the people that are watching us, just to close your eyes. Or if you don't want to close your eyes, don't close your eyes. But how you breathe in. And you don't need to change anything. You don't need to modify anything. You just have to notice how you breathe in. And people will be like, what do you mean with how you breathe in? Like from where you breathe in. For example, that's one question. Are you breathing through your nose or are you breathing through your mouth? That could be something. Are you
Mm.
You could place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly, and it will be more in your abdomen, not exactly in the belly, but in your abdomen, like up, upper your belly button.
Mm-hmm.
You could put a hand on that, on those 2 points, and just breathe and feel which hand move more, the one in your chest or the one in your abdomen. That's another question. That's another way to create awareness of your breath.
Mm.
And then you will start like, oh, okay. If I'm breathing through my mouth, I will recommend that you train yourself to start just breathing through your nose, because through your nose is like the most natural way to breathe. And it helps you to create more oxygen and liberate actually the oxygen through your cells and
Mm.
your bloodstream. Uh, and also the nose clean the air, and it's a lot of um
It's kind of like the
benefits.
filter for your body, right?
Exactly. It's like the, yeah. And then if you breathe through your nose, you probably will have changes on your posture, your your changes on your jaw. You
Yeah.
probably will have more dryness in your mouth, so you probably will have more oral issues like cavities and bad breath and like things like that. You probably snore in the night,
Mm.
like things like that. So that's something from where you're breathing, nose, mouth, how you're breathing, chest, belly, like which hand moves more. If it's the chest, now feel like, is your breath fast? Is your breath slow? It is shallow? Is deep? Probably if it's at the chest, it's not. But the most natural way to breathe is through the nose and moving your abdomen. So we can retrain all that. But if you don't know how you breathe, if
Mm.
you don't know your patterns, how you gonna just jump into intense practices, right?
Right, right.
So sometimes what I see with other practitioners or educators of the breath is that they are very focused on the techniques and show you techniques and how you do this and how you do that. But they don't show you how to understand your own breath, how to create the awareness that you need in order to modify your own breath. Because, same thing, the breath that is good for me probably is not good for you.
Right, right. Yeah, different body structure, different body type, different um, ways of yeah, breathing will affect you differently, especially if you're somebody that hasn't done that type of work before. If they try to jump in and do the type of breath work that you do, they probably make themselves pass out. You got to
Totally.
ease into it a little
Or
bit.
it will exacerbate the symptoms that you're trying to deal with, your stress or
Mm.
your rhythm for sleep, because insomnia is a lot of things that people want to work with. So if you don't know that and you start doing just because it's a trend or just because you think it's cool, you are missing the point of taking this breach as a birthright, right? It's your
Mm.
birthright. Use it accordingly.
I like that. I like that. It is your birthright. You know, it's something that yeah, we do naturally, and we require it to to survive, but we don't think about it. We don't.
I had a friend one day that he told me, oh my God. He was like, oh, I've been breathing all my life. And now I have to learn how to breathe. And I was like, well, did somebody ever told you how to breathe when you were a kid? No.
Ooh.
Okay. Do you have good examples of good behaviors in your house? He was like, totally no. I was like, okay. So you are breathing all your life? Yeah, but are you breathing or are you surviving?
Ooh.
Right? Like, are you really breathing and living, or you are just in survival mode all the time? And that's why, like, coming back to the conversation in the beginning, when I said that we are so used to dramatic things, um, I think that we are normalized so much to be stressed. We
Mm.
normalize doing, that we become these human doers instead of human beings.
Ooh.
So
That's a good one. You're right. You're
it's,
so right. It's so easy the way life is set up. You know, society has this so, and I think it's a lot, you know, with like TV shows and movies and stuff like that too. We're so accustomed to seeing those big dramatic things going on that we kind of subconsciously expect that. And yeah, we're so dramatic. We need that big, profound awakening, or else it's not working. I think the more that we're able to simplify things, like we said before, be present, be self-aware of what you're feeling and why you're feeling it and what you can do about that. And a lot of it, yeah, is breathing through it properly, you know, having that present state of mind. And I think when you said before, you know, closing your eyes, I think that's a good practice because it immediately eliminates one of those senses, right? That you can, that kind of overloads you. If you're looking around, you may get lost at some of the things that you're seeing, but if you close your eyes, it kind of focuses in on it makes it easier, I should say, to allow you to focus in on your breath, right?
I think also, like, even if you're doing a practice in a group, if you close your eyes and you trust everybody has the eyes closed also, it eliminates this judgment also, right? Like, if somebody's looking at me, what if I look weird? What if I look silly? What if this doesn't make sense? I don't know how I'm doing it. Like, things like that that are
Mm,
maybe so silly, but they are so present in all of us. Like, we are all feel in some way, ever in our lives feel judged, right? Or not
yeah.
sure about doing something because I don't know how I'm gonna look on that, right?
Right.
And I think that's part of what I'm dealing right now in my life, because for in pandemic, for example, I start doing in my personal account in Instagram, I start just sharing with people things that I did when I have a lot of anxiety and panic attacks and things like that. But I was just doing it like casually, right? No, as a project. It was just more like a personal sharing, because in pandemic people were very scared, right?
Yeah.
And I had this call of, well, I pass for a lot of anxiety and panic attacks and things like that. So I just gonna bring some tools, right, that help me to balance myself and things like that. So I start doing lives and I start doing some sharing here and there. Um, but everything was in Spanish because Spanish is my first language. I am from Costa Rica.
Ah.
And and now with Bread Lab, it's a project where I am working on this, right? Just letting myself be, trusting myself to be heard and seen, even when I don't have maybe, I don't know, the right word. But I think from my experience, because I'm talking from my experience, I could connect more with people than if I have a vast vocabulary of words saying the things then very beautifully, because I think it's going to sound beautifully anyway, because I'm talking through my throat, right? It's not, I'm not making it up, right?
Right.
So, and I think that's something very important also when you decide to try breath work, to try to find somebody that embody what is teaching you. And it's
Mm.
not just a cool person, right?
Yeah, popular, the next fad or trend that everybody's just kind of following along because it's cool, like you said. It's so easy nowadays too, especially with social media, to find somebody that you think is just cool and just follow them blindly without really feeling that deeper connection to who they are and why they're doing the thing that they're doing.
Even though I think that right now we are in a, as a collective, we are growing and we are rising, and I think more and more people will starting to see what is right, like who
Yeah,
who is talking what, right? That the
right.
those masquerade that we were saying, right? You cannot hold your performance too much.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important. And also I think I mean, we have AI now too and things like that. But when you really take responsibility of you and you start connecting with yourself, you're gonna be, your intuition gonna be high enough for you to discard things that doesn't resonate with you, and you can
Mm.
follow the things that actually make sense for you. And same thing, nothing that other people said, nothing that I said, nothing that you said is the truth. You have to question it and really put the work on it and say, I don't believe that.
Mm.
But maybe I'm curious enough that I want to experience it. Or no, like definitely no. Or yes, this resonate with me, and I think it is. But I don't take it as a true. I take it as a something that it's part of possibilities, right? Of the
Yeah.
vast and broad possibilities that we have. We have infinite possibilities of things. So um that's how I feel. And I think that's one of the things that I learned to do, to question things.
I think that's important. A lot of people just take things at the surface level and just run with it and don't really question it or, yeah, assess why they believe in it or why they are following along. It's just something that they're seeing, it's like a herd of cattle, they're just, oh, we're all moving in this direction, so I guess I'll do it too. I had one more question for you. Is there a specific breath work practice that you run that you come back to all the time, that this is your go-to practice or workout breath work that you do, or is there one that like works for you like every single time?
As a human, and especially as a woman, I'm cyclical. I'm cyclical, right? I have a period also. I move with the moon. So every single day I need different things, right? I don't feel the same every day. Sometimes I feel happy. Sometimes I am energetic. Sometimes I need cozy and love and care, and I'm sensitive and things like that. Especially if I'm close to my period or with my period, I cannot do an intense breath work session because
Mm,
it's not going to be good for me, right? So I have to be respectful of my cycle. Respect, and my cycle, it means like your days, right? And that's part
hmm.
of knowing yourself. Knowing
Right.
yourself, how you feel today. So every single day, I do things ritually. Let's say I wake up and I do cleansing and I sit and meditate and I do heart coherence breath, which is connecting with my heart and let
Mm,
my breath guide me, connecting from my heart, expanding through my mind, and just feeling blessed, feeling compassion, feeling love, gratefulness. Those
mm,
four words always work in feeling you expanded. So, heart coherence is something that I do every single day. But breath work, as breath work techniques as it is, depends on how I feel. Sometimes I need let it go. Sometimes I need to go more inward. Sometimes I need energy. Sometimes I need to calm down. So depends on that. But heart coherence, that's something that I am devotional now to do.
mm. I love that. I think that's so important. I'm glad you said that because I feel like with a lot of people, like yeah, as we said before, with the dramatics, that they're looking for that one stop shop, that one, pill that they can take and it's going to make everything right every single time. That one go to, I do this and I'll be okay. But sometimes it's not going to be what you need. Sometimes it's going to be too much. Sometimes it's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes it will be perfect.
Mm.
But I think it's so important for what you said, especially as a woman. You're going to go through this roller coaster of emotions and feelings, and not just feelings on the inside, but feelings on the outside too. And you need to be able to try different things because you're not always going to have that one thing that's going to fix everything every single time. I think it's good to have your go to routine, especially to start the day, but don't let that be the only thing that you fall back on because that may not be all that you need. Sometimes you may need a little more. Sometimes you may need something gentle. Sometimes you may need something hard. Sometimes you may need something fun. Sometimes you may need something boring.
Yeah, sometimes
But
you just
whatever
need
it
to
is,
check your body. That's it. Let it
yeah,
go.
right.
Right. It's and I'm a Winghoff student though, so I do love
Mm,
that technique as well. But in their days that I need it, and it really helps. But also, I think that comes with practice and that comes with awareness. So you
yes.
will know what to pick, but you need to experience, you need to experiment with yourself. And first, you have to know yourself, how you feel. So you start picking for that moment and that period of your life or that season of your life. This is what I need. So it's an invitation to just be curious and experiment with yourself, knowing yourself first through your breath.
Hmm. I love that. That's beautiful. I love your mindset. I love your approach. I love, like I said before, the depths that you're willing to go to have a better understanding of not just yourself but those around you, and what you can do to help not just yourself but those around you. I love when somebody can take something that they were struggling with, turn it into a strength, and then put it outwards to help other people with that. And that's what you're doing, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Kathy, thank you so much. I feel like this is the type of work that we all need, that we all can do, but not everybody knows how to, and somebody like yourself that's out there to help people on that path, on that journey, I think that's a beautiful thing. Before I let you go, let everybody know where they can find you, where they can follow you, where they can start getting involved and be a part of the journey that you're going on right now.
Yeah, well, my Instagram, which will be linked with you over here, but
Hmm.
um, it's a underscore, it's Brett Lab underscore yoga studio. That's my Instagram. In my Instagram, my Instagram is, as you said, or as you hear me, it's a mix of human life, right? I'm not just, first of all, I don't consider myself a teacher because I'm still a student. So I'm a mirror for you. You could be reflected on me and the ways that I
Mm.
breathe. I give you tools, you could use it. My invitation is for you to be curious about it. Um, Also, I could be very mechanical because I'm a physical therapist and I love all the physiology and anatomy of that. But I'm also very spiritual. So you will see a mix of things that are part of my life and make me who I am and how I like to express myself in the world. And I think it's something very important for me right now. It's just allowing me to don't pick one of the things. I could be a physical therapist, but I'm also a student and I'm also a human being living a human being experience. So it's a
Mm.
combination of everything, right? So yeah,
I love it. I love it. Self-expression, it's so hard to do, and I applaud you on the work that you're doing in putting yourself out there, being curious with yourself and allowing others to see that it's not easy. And I think you're doing a great job, and I love everything that you have going on right now. So again,
thank
thank
you.
you so much for coming on here. This was a great conversation. I had a feeling it was going to be. I'm very excited about it. You opened my eyes to, again, something so simple as breath work, but just being curious about yourself, who you are, why you're here, what you're capable of, and then sharing that with the world. I think it's a beautiful thing. So again, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I think that the only thing, if is somebody just listen to this and take this idea of breath is so simple, yes, but it's so powerful because it's life itself. If you don't breathe, you're not living. You don't live,
Right.
you're dead. So it's the most simple and powerful tool that you have any moment, anytime, anywhere. It's something you do all the time. It's always with you. It's your company. It's always there with you. So
Right.
learn how to use it, master it, and you will master your life. I
Yeah,
think like
absolutely.
my tag is your breath is your superpower. Own it because it is true. It is your superpower. You can modify any other system in your body if you connect with it. So
Absolutely. Breathe with intention, live with intention, and you'll be that much better off.
perfect. Yeah. Well said.
Awesome. Thank you again. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thank
We'll see you
you.
next time.
Bye.